It is Tuesday, September 19th, 2017, 7:58 p.m., and we will now begin the governing body of the Successor Agency meeting. Roll call.
Director Zarita.
Here.
McCoy. Yes. Sharif.
Yes.
Chairperson Brown.
Yes. And we will now proceed forward with public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. Mr. Robert Ray.
Thank you, Robert Ray Compton. On the agency properties, is there any way we can get an update as to what's going on with these properties? Jamie Brooks from CBRE, I was talking with him a couple months ago. He said he would be more than happy to come and let people know what he was doing. He's working, trying to find people to some of these properties. And he said he would love to come to a meeting and inform as to his progress. So maybe somebody can invite him to come and find out what's going on with these properties. I know he's working really hard on Compton and Central to get somebody there. I also would like to know what's going on with Alondra Park. Nobody has done anything to that property. And why is not Meta Housing starting work on phase 2 of the Metro project? They're 2 years behind on that. And if nothing, they need to clean up the weeds. That place is a junkyard, you know, almost as bad as it was a junkyard. But, you know, Metro Housing was going to develop that almost 2 years ago. And what are they waiting for? And now we're talking about Union Mission wanting to come to Rosecrans. They gave a presentation Saturday to concerned citizens, and I can tell you they were not very well received. You know, people support the mission of the mission, but not in Compton. But we need an update. What's going on with these successor agency properties? Is anything in the works? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Bishop Guillory is no longer here. Mr. David Irons.
David Irons, resident of Compton. I'm still concerned about that gentrification stuff. It's all in the news. Chicago, Oakland, all of these places fix it so the people that live there cannot afford to live there. Gentrification stops here. I don't care what anybody say. Whoever is for gentrification, they are for people being homeless. Because people have become homeless because of gentrification. I'm anti-rezoning as well. This place is too small to rezone. I know a lot about construction. I know you could have a 75-foot tall building on Long Beach Boulevard. Long Beach too, all commercial. 35-foot tall building in residential. So you could build up. Right there, you could build new condos right down the street on Compton Boulevard instead of rezoning something. Like I say, you guys are co-conspirators of making people homeless before gentrification. A lot of people say Mexicans are taking over. My children's mom was half Mexican, but Mexicans are buying this place. The other people came and took it from the Mexicans. They were farmers. Farmers are not violent people. I'm not a violent person because I'm a vegetarian. It takes a whole lot to make me get violent. Well, not a lot, but you have to learn how to protect yourself. Here, these guys coming out there with hoes and rakes, fighting guys with rifles. They took that stuff from the Mexicans. I'm tired of people taking stuff from people. They say the Mexicans taking over. They buying this place.
Thank you, Mr. Irons. Ms. Marla Clark Sanders is no longer here. Mr. Holyfield.
Oh, wow. All this sitting, and I'm only 38 years old. So let me say first, thank the council, the full council, and the city manager and everyone for number 6. Thank you very much. and on behalf of the nursery, the little shopping center, and the homes in the area, and the school, et cetera, in their behalf, I thank you in their behalf. And then I'd like to say that my name is Benjamin Holyfield, and I'm from the great 3rd District of Compton, and I'm the president and the founder of the Compton Business Chamber of Commerce, and we are doing a beautification program on Compton Boulevard, as I have stated, and give you information pertaining. The Compton Business Chamber of Commerce are the only chamber in this city that is independent. We're not in the city property, on city property, nor do we get any support as such from the city financially, and never have, and never requested it, as a matter of fact. Now, Compton Boulevard represents 4 districts, as I stated. When it was mentioned earlier about that place in 500 block on Compton Boulevard, that was in Council Lady Tana McCoy's district, which is the 3rd district. But each of you must have a representative to come together with us in terms of beautifying and branding Compton Boulevard once more, as it was in 1952 when Compton was an all-American city. We must work together as a village, and the businesses must be held, including me, responsible for our own properties. And if they need help, then I believe that the city should help. But it could only be done that way. Every property on Compton Boulevard, and we've already begun, so it's not going to be that difficult. And all these lots need to be cleaned up that's owned by a Successor Agency. They need to be cleaned up, and they needed maintenance all the time, instead of just every now and then. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk and to thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your help too.
Thank you, Mr. Holyfield. Mr. Lester Barrage is no longer here. Ms. Joyce Kelly?
Thank you. CRA is responsible for Compton Boulevard looking like a 3rd world country. Now it's Successor Agency. It's almost time for the Compton Christmas Parade, and I understand there's money allocated for the parade. Once again, it's going to be disturbing to walk down or look at that place. I don't know if any of you have ever driven down Compton Boulevard. It seems as though you haven't. Successor Agency, former CRA, allow campaign signs to be on the fences, allow weeds to grow wild, and this city is not doing anything trying to clean up, especially the areas that are on the main thoroughfares. These are traveled by people who go from one end of Long Beach Boulevard, Alameda, Wilmington, Central, Santa Fe, to the other. And it looks horrible. I know you all travel outside the city because some of you live outside the city. And yet you sit there and you say you represent the city. And you sit there and you say you want to raise. Some of you say you want to raise. But I ask, a raise for what? To come here 4 times a month. To do what? You've been acting like children lately. I'm thoroughly being entertained. But people, you have to do something. The people in Successor Agency are making money, earning money, a salary for what? Look at our city. Look where the old trash company used to be on Alameda. It's sad. Thank you.
Ms. Lynn Boone?
Lynn Boone, City of Compton. I am so proud of you guys because now you are starting to pay attention, because there's going to be many, many, many questions that's going to be asked of you. This is going to be one of the biggest elections because we have so many people that are going to be running for governor. We have the state of California, the controller, here in Compton, and he's going to be running for governor. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes down to it, and they're going to start asking you council members questions, because there's a lot of resolutions that you guys have signed, not so much McCoy and Sharif, that are really, really questionable. So you guys are going to need to start preparing yourself, especially you, Ms. Sarita, because when Ms. Brown first sat down, you were really good friends with her, and you signed a lot of resolutions that you really should have questioned, and some of them were to give Mr. Bakewell a lot of property. But now is the time that you guys really need to start paying attention. You know, I just want to say, as leaders, you really need to start thinking about others and not just yourself, and that's like the city. You know, our city attorney, he's just not here for us. He's just, you know, I have to agree with Councilperson Galvan, you know, he's just serving one person, and it's not so much the city. The city manager, I know it's due to lack of really, you know, I don't know the word I want to say, but you know what it is, you know, experience. But, you know, maybe you need to move on or whatever, I don't know, but something needs to change. And Ms. Brown, I don't even know the words, but you don't care about us, but you need to move on too. But anyway, thank you guys, and please, just read. Take your time, you don't understand, just read. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lynn Boone. We appreciate you. Madam City Clerk?
Approval of minutes.
So moved. Second.
Amendments or discussion? Roll call?
Director Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Chairperson Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
General counsel reports.
Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you. There's a closed session discussion proposed for this evening. It's dealing with real estate negotiations. The property is 250 North Central Avenue. Compton. Negotiating parties are city manager and the assistant city managers with Private Capital Realty Advisor, Inc., pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.8. That's the correct citation, but it's a real estate negotiation. Requesting a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Director Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Chairperson Brown.
Yes.
You had director's comments, I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Madam City Clerk. Director Sharif?
Madam Mayor, there is, oh, I'm sorry. There's one announcement I did want to make, because in looking at the information that came from the Career Link, the UPS, Compton UPS is now recruiting, and they're recruiting for the residents here in the city of Compton, and they are asking for the residents to bring their resumes immediately to the Career Link. You can go in Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the address is 700 North Bullis Road here in Compton. And so they can start applying for those positions there for UPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Director McCoy?
Yes. Mr. City Manager, I am going to request that you bring back a report as to when the successor agency properties the lots will be cleaned up, as well as instruct the water department to bring back a report on that old rubbish site, on what the disposition and when they'll be working on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Zarita?
Thank you. Just real quick, I would just suggest that anyone that's curious about the way I call for the question, you can go to the Wikipedia and search previous question, and it'll explain the whole process to you. And I also like to close in the memory of Gregory Cox, C-O-X. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have a motion to adjourn?
Recess.
Excuse me, to recess? Roll call?
Director Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Yes. Sharif. Yes. Chairperson Brown.
Yes.
Hello.
Report out in this, under this agenda, it's a real property negotiation. The property is 250 North Central Avenue. Negotiating parties, city manager and assistant city managers with Private Capital Realty Advisor Incorporated, pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.8. In this matter, there was unanimous agreement to go out for a request for proposals for the sale of this property. That was a four council vote without Councilperson Zarita for that roll call. And that concludes the reporting out of closed sessions.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. May we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Director McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Chairperson Brown.
Yes. Thank you and good night.
Good night.